I just got some really great news. And so I'm going to share it with you. I had to take my grand dog for a walk, say hello to Fiona. And and so I said, I'm going to sit down here and I'm going to record this and share this because big news that I'm going to share, but the number 12, the number 7, the power of yet, and how these are pieces of a puzzle that I didn't even know was going to come together with the way it's coming together in 2024. So, what am I talking about? So, 12 years ago, the Jobs Act passed, and that revolutionized the way that entrepreneurs could raise capital because they weren't subject to the traditional pipeline of angel investors and angel investor groups, really groups, and VCs. They could go out to their potential customers, go out to their peers, go out to their community of people that didn't have to be millionaires. They didn't need to know them before they started raising capital. And it just opened up the doors, and everybody talked about the Jobs Act as being this great thing for entrepreneurs. But the other thing that it really was great for is the democratization of the capital markets. Aren't those big words? Well, that basically means that other people, not people that weren't just millionaires, could also invest in entrepreneurs. If you believe that entrepreneurs or being an entrepreneur is the greatest way to create wealth, because we see it all around us ever since the start of the Industrial Revolution, really. I mean, all the way back from Getty and Vanderbilt to the current billionaires of Walmart, I guess back in the day, and Gates and Bezos and Musk and all those people, Zuckerberg, right? All those names that you know. What was it? They were entrepreneurs. But what came to find out is that, and I didn't really understand that, even though I've been working with angel investors for over 20 years, this is where the power of yet comes in. Because the number 7 was 7 years since I wrote my book, Inside Secrets to Angel Investing. And, well, since it became a bestseller, I guess I should say. And so, the other day I was on a call and somebody was talking about the power of the number 7. And if you see in the little notes, if you read that stuff, 12 and 7 have these magical meanings to people that put meanings to numbers, whether it's based on the Bible or based off of some other metaphysical thing, but they mean, in a way, completeness, wholeness, perfection, right? They have slightly different meanings, but they kind of coincide that way. So with my big news, so I wrote the book. The reason why I wrote the book was because I had this fear that, the greatest thing that was going to help entrepreneurs, that was the barrier to more people creating wealth and more jobs being created because of being an entrepreneur and not getting access to the capital for that, was going to be removed, because now you could raise capital from anybody that just liked what you were doing, that had shared the passion with what that entrepreneur, the problem that entrepreneur is trying to solve, to create a whole new industry or revolutionize an industry, all the things that I talk about in my podcast. So I had this vision for the compassionate capitalist movement to inform and educate people that invest in real estate and stocks that there was a whole other asset class that they had been missing out on, and that is investing in entrepreneurs as an asset class. Because guess what? Millionaires, the top 1%, have been doing it forever. They're like 80 years since before it became illegal, they were doing it. That's what the Rockefellers and the DuPonts and all those guys, they've been doing it for a long, long time. And so why not? But I realized there was no education. I'm going to start showing, because I've been, studying this, and this is where the power of yet comes in, looking at my competition, but then sharing with you what the competition's doing. And there's still not really any education for the everyman, the every woman, to try to learn how to jump the wealth gap and go from being a middle class to an upper class, if you will, from middle income to upper income to millionaire status. And the government saw it. Like, yeah, really? Yeah, the government saw it, right? I'm not going to get all into that because I've talked about it before, because I'm really here to talk about my big news. So I have been trying to, I wrote the first step. If you're going to start a movement, write a book about it. Like, explain to people what they can do if they join the movement, how they can create wealth if they adopt this as a fun hobby. Really, it is. Looking at these entrepreneurs and all the things they're doing is really exciting. It's passionate just knowing that it's happening. And so uh, so here I'm going to continue to walk back because my dog is getting impatient, or my daughter's dog is getting impatient. And I'm here at my Lake Peachtree here. This is a part of our beautiful community. Um, and so I said, you know what? I got to bring this book out. And it was a step-by-step how-to. And, I was naive. I thought that, people would read the book and do the steps that I outlined in there, and then they would come and join the resource portal where I have all these sample contracts, and I have all of these various, tools that investors use in evaluating and closing on the deals that they invest in as angel investors. And, we're thousands of dollars I've accumulated over the years, valuation spreadsheets. And I sold a lot more books than who came and signed up on the portal. I mean, thousands of books, if you will, bestseller, but like probably less than 200 people sign up on the portal. And so I said, well, okay, obviously that's not working, because I thought it was going to become this super great active element of, people getting together to collaborate on deals. And that was the virtual national network of angel investors. And then I realized that in reality, people really need to be chaperoned. So the book's laid out step by step. I could make a course, but guess what? I had no idea how to make a course. I had no idea. I mean, I knew I didn't want to just do a webinar or a live stream. I wanted to make something that could be used again and again and again. And it would be something that was available whenever people wanted, because the competition doesn't make it available whenever people want it. The people that had been providing it, the Angel Capital Association, only makes it available to the millionaires that are already members of their group. But what about all of those other people? What about the people that have, because of their race or their sex, had been limited in their access to these ways of making capital, even or making wealth, even in access to being able to invest in real estate, right, or get a loan on a business? And so, why not them being able to leapfrog this and leapfrog that wealth gap? So I said, okay, I've got to figure that out. I hired a great coach, Jason Lynette. Gave me some, because he had walked the walk and talked the talk and done exactly what I was trying to do in the time frame that I bounced around. I don't know what I was doing, not figuring it out, but not figuring it out fast enough. And so so I said I can walk in those footsteps, and he would show me how. So that was pretty exciting. And then I said, so I got that piece of it, but still, it was the belief that I could really make this happen, that I could, it's about 700,000 altogether angel investors in angel groups, and and about 350,000 people that have invested in Reg CF companies. Yet there's 7 million people that invest in real estate that just have an income, or they've been shut out the last couple of years, of $75,000. And there's 70 million people that invest in the stock market. And so why can't we bring another 350,000 potential investors investing in entrepreneurs all over? And so the other thing that happened was, and I'm getting to the big news. The other thing that happened was that there was a huge amount of money coming down from corporate America, nonprofits, federal government, to help diverse founders learn how to be ready to raise capital and be able to raise capital. And as I started talking to the incubators and the VCs and the different people that I knew in government agencies that did that kind of support work for entrepreneurs, and cultivated them, I said, what's happening with the investor side? I like shrug their shoulders. And I say, well, do you think we need more investors? Oh, yes, we need more investors. Well, what are you doing about it? Oh, they do the same thing that everybody does. They go knock on the same door when they hear somebody sells a company. All the angel groups and the VC groups go and knock on that person's door and say, join us. But nobody's cultivating the next generation. Nobody's looking to bring people that maybe are just near accredited, but not that accredited yet. But they can get started with different mechanisms and get their sea legs. Guess what? They could start with crowdfunding and put $1,000 into a company before they have to start writing $10,000 checks, and learn how to do that and become really, really good at it, competent and confident, so that they can go forth. So how do I do that? How do I do that? That's the compassionate capitalist movement. How do I do that? How do I get access to some of that money that's out there on the entrepreneur side? But also a lot of these organizations, the incubators, the community organizations, the economic development organizations, they all have a community around them that's not just entrepreneurs, but they're not trying to help them understand how they could invest in the entrepreneurs in their community. So my big news, officially today, January 25th, 2024, I have my cage number to be a federal FBE. And that means that I am going to, oh dear, I gotta get a call in the middle of a report of a thing. I gotta call him back. But he's the guy, that's Ray McNeil. He's the guy that helped me figure out how to become a federal contractor and really chaperone me through the process. So I will be eternally grateful to him on that. But that's the thing. So now I'd already talked to the Secretary of State. I'd already talked to the Atlanta Urban League. I'd already talked to a lot of these other organizations that are doing these programs that are getting this federal money for the entrepreneur side of things, and said, hey, let me just why don't you just refer me to your community, because you need to get more investors to help you invest in these companies. And they all said, oh yeah, when you get that number, come back to us and we'll do that. So what I'm creating, I'm so excited. So what I'm creating, I'll be launching this education, you know, if my stars continue to align, next week. Yeah. Thank you to Daryl Lewis. He's helping me get my videos on my landing page done this weekend, and so we'll be launching this. I mean, it'll go out to a soft launch. You that are listening to this, if you're in one of my groups or connected with me on LinkedIn, then you're going to get a message with a code that gives you access to it at a discount. And some of you that are already established angel investors, I'm going to be hitting you up and giving you free access for a little while so you can check it out, because I believe that a lot of angel groups will want to put this on their website as well. So it's really that is a piece of the puzzle coming together. And the power of yet. I did not yet have the knowledge I needed. I did not yet know how to explain it and why it was so few people knew about angel investing, and so many people thought that did know about it thought it was gambling or really risky, which it's not. If you know what to do, that's my angel profitability blueprint, and it's I'm just so excited. I don't know everything, and I'm still really, really nervous because I have to learn so much, and I'm really, fingers crossed that this is going to come together. But I just feel like the power of 12 and 7 going full circle on this, and I hope that you will join me on my journey and check it out, and just, if it's not for you when it's launched, that you will share it with those of you around you that are, always talking about entrepreneurism, or always talking about what trends they can find in the stock market. There's no better trend than buying wholesale and selling retail. That's the way to go, right? So with that, I'm going to say thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you made it all the way to the end, and have a great Friday.